Hello everybody, let's have a look at the full results of the by-election in Southend West, and as predicted it was a landslide victory by the Conservatives. Jayda Fransen knew that this was a Conservative Tory stronghold and that they would win by over 10,000 votes. This is why she said in her campaign and the leaflet literature that we was posting out in Southend West to spoil the ballot paper. Despite that, Jayda Fransen received 299 votes, only 21 votes behind the English Democrats, candidate who, Catherine Blakelock, was the founder of the Brexit Party, so she's very high profile. And Steve Laws of UKIP only received 101 votes more than Jayda Fransen. Here we can see a BBC article has written that the turnout was one of the lowest for a Westminster by-election since World War II, while the number of spoilt ballot papers rose fourfold to more than 1,000. There was 1,084 spoilt ballot papers in the Southend West by-election. 4 times higher than the usual amount of spoilt ballot papers for an election with one of the lowest turnouts in a Westminster by-election since World War II. Now, in this election, it's only because it's one of the strongest Tory strongholds in the country, Southend West. Nobody was ever going to win this election. But Jayda Fransen, as we can see on the campaign literature that we was delivering, Jayda Fransen's message wasn't to vote for Jayda Fransen, it was to spoil the ballot paper in a sign of defiance against the Tory government and the tyranny, the tyrannical rules that they have been implementing on the people, yet they ignored them rules. They was having party after party, and there seems to be a culture of alcohol in Westminster, in the cabinet, at 10 Downing Street especially. So, yes, this was a very good result for Jayda Fransen. 299 people voted for her, despite the leaflets saying to spoil the ballot paper, and then we've seen the amount of spoilt ballots in this election was 1,084, 4 times higher than the usual amount of spoilt ballots, and this was one of the lowest turnouts in a Westminster by-election since World War II. Now, as the title suggests in this video, we're going to see some exclusive footage of the loony left confronting Jayda Fransen when we was delivering the leaflets and newspapers. What occurred was Jayda Fransen posted the newspaper and leaflet only within within the space of I don't know, a couple of minutes. Jayda Fransen had it was only a 3-4 minutes. Jayda Fransen had she was about 4 doors higher, so 4 doors behind her. One of the people in the house came out of his house, stormed up the street 4 or 5 doors, threw the newspaper, the Freedom newspaper, on the floor, and started screaming that it was racist literature. The amount of time between the newspaper and leaflet being posted through the door and him coming out, provocating, it wasn't enough time for him to have read the newspaper. He clearly saw, he's clearly from the far left, and saw who the candidate was, and yes, threw the paper on the floor. So we're going to see some exclusive footage now of Jayda Fransen taking him to town. This loony left pillock clearly made a fool of himself, and we are going to see that. First, let's see what Jayda Fransen said about the incident in a live stream the night before the by-election on Wednesday night.
Good evening, everybody. we were just waiting to see if we were live, because you know me, I like to start these live streams and then I'm not there, I'm talking to myself, but I hope you are all well. And as you can see, I'm streaming, not from the studio this evening, so excuse the fact that I probably look a bit dishevelled. We've been out all day campaigning, we're in Southend West. And we've been in the constituency for the last few days. We've been giving out newspapers, we've been giving out leaflets. Let me show you our leaflet. I'm not going to shout too loud. I know, foggle, but I'm not going to shout too loud because we are in a public place. But needs must. I was not going to miss the live stream. So here we go. Here's our leaflet that we've been giving out. And I'm going to be honest. We've had a really good reception. In the majority, people have been really supportive. People have been really pleased to see us. We've had a couple today. We had how many do we? I'm going to bring some of the guys in a minute. But how many did we have today? Was it one? No, two. Two. We had two today. So we had a lady come out and tell us Porky Pies, that she's an NHS nurse and that we're anti-vaxxers and that we're evil. And then we had another man named Matthew, whom I'm probably going to share some footage of, to be fair. And Matthew doesn't want me to, but I'm probably going to do it. Because Matthew chased me didn't chase me, but came running down the street and threw the literature on the ground and started pontificating as these silly lefties do. Now, the thing that shocked me the most out of this entire exchange was, well into the exchange, Matthew declared that his wife and children were pulling up. I would have bet everything that I no longer have, because it's all been given to the Halal Food Authority, all of my assets that I've lost, I would have bet everything that Matthew did not have a wife, but he had a husband. And now, I still am not convinced about Matthew's story. A woman did turn up, but I'm not 100% convinced, you know? So anyway, apart from those two, we have had a really, really great time in Southend West. And of course, the vote is tomorrow. And of course, we're telling everyone don't vote, as you do. Here's our leaflet. Spoil the ballot. Give us our freedom back. So this whole campaign has been quite a strange one, really, because, you know, we've stood in lots of elections and under the British Freedom Party. Now this is our first this year, but last year we had three, and you know, we've just ran our campaign and done what we've got to do. But in this constituency specifically, you know, it's a Tory stronghold. And for want of a more tactful phrase, the Tories are going to get the sympathy vote after the brutal slaying of Sir David Amis. And so the rest of the mainstream parties tapped out, but there are other parties, smaller parties that are standing, and candidates, independents. And we know that the Tories are going to win this seat, right? It's a complete Tory stronghold. We've always been realistic about politics, and we've always said, you know, the political route to salvation for this nation is gone. But it doesn't mean that we can't use the system. And we have used the system. We've given out thousands of these. And we've been also very kindly giving out thousands of these as well. This is what Matthew didn't like. And we also, thanks to all of your lovely good selves, we also got a full drop done. 42,500 homes got our main leaflet, which exposed the Tory double standards, right?
Right, without further ado, let's have a look at Matthew's meltdown. The meltdown of a looney. It's someone who's clearly on the looney left. Now, he came out of his house, stormed up the road, and he was threatening to ring the police during the exchange at the end of it when he realised he was getting owned by Jayda Fransen and losing the debate. But he threatened to ring the police. Now, the only person who actually did a crime, I suppose, was Matthew, because he came out and threw the paper on the floor. Littering is a crime. Of course, Jayda Fransen picked up the freedom paper. Yes, this guy, he came out of his house screaming at the top of his voice that the Freedom newspaper was racist. Now, the Freedom newspaper doesn't have anything about race in there. The Freedom newspaper is against the lockdowns, against the government deciding that 80,000 care workers need to be sacked because they haven't taken the vaccine, and against the proposals which the government, I think, have now turned back on, where they said 120,000 NHS workers would lose. I think it's 120,000, might be wrong, it might even be higher than that. They was suggesting that they have to take the jab or lose their job. So this newspaper doesn't say anything about this. It is clearly not racist. Matthew, it was a space about 3-4 minutes before it was between it going through his letterbox and him storming out of his house to confront Jayda Fransen. There's not enough time for him to have even looked at the newspaper. So this was clearly the looney left coming out of the house. And yes, let's have a look at the footage, because Matthew made a bit of a pillock of himself, as you can all see.
They locked the country down and they had a party every week. That is not okay. One rule for the elite, one rule for us little people. That's not what I don't support. I don't support that, right?
I'm sorry for the confusion.
But somehow that's racist.
No.
No, but that's what you said. You came up, you threw it on the floor, and you said, take your racist literature, right? That's what you said.
Okay.
You can take your racist literature, you throw it on the floor.
Yeah, I did.
There's nothing
And I
racist
stick
in
to
this.
that.
Well, there's nothing racist in this, right? Black, white, left, right, they locked all of us down, and then they had a party every week.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter what colour you are, what race, it doesn't matter what religion, what political party you follow. It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Excuse me. Turn the phone off, delete the
He
footage.
doesn't need to do any of that. He's on a public ground. If you don't want to be filmed, you need to go in your house.
No.
Yeah.
Under GDPR, I have not given you consent to
You don't
record
need
this.
GDPR, you're in public. You're in public.
He is filming me without my
I
consent.
know he is, yeah, you're in public.
I have given him no consent
You
to
don't
film
need to, you're in
me.
public.
Therefore, he is breaking
You
the
don't
law.
need to, you're in public.
Excuse me. He's not filming a party. He's not filming a group of people.
No, he's filming
He's
you and
filming
you're
an
in public.
individual.
Yeah, who came
Excuse
out,
me,
who came out to a public highway to throw abuse about racism.
No. I'm on my... You're saying I'm I'm on my property. Okay. I've told you that I don't want your literature. He is filming on my property.
It's not on your
I
property.
have told... This is my property. He is filming me.
Alright, listen,
I have
I'll tell you
told
what,
you a number of
I'll
times.
tell you what you do.
No, excuse
Take
me.
us to
Again.
court. Take us to court.
Again. You don't want to debate.
No, you
You're
don't.
trying to go for political office. You're trying to call someone into
You
political
don't want to
office, and
debate.
you're refusing
You're calling
to
me a
debate.
racist for demanding freedom. Demanding the same rules for the
Excuse me,
elite
I
as for
did
us.
not call you racist. I said that the literature in there
Well,
is
I
racist.
wrote that, so therefore I would be racist if I produced it, wouldn't I?
Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Jayda. What's your name?
Awesome. My name is Matthew. Hello.
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
I'm well. There's nothing racist in this publication. It's in fact,
Hey,
this is
Jayda.
Yes,
I don't
Matthew.
really want to talk about that anymore.
Well, go home then.
What?
Go into your home, which is right there, and leave me to get on with what I'm doing.
My wife and children are now turning up.
Right.
Film them and I will phone the police.
Go to the police.
Okay. I have asked you a number of times to stop
Listen,
filming
I'm not in
me.
business of filming people's wives and kids. Right? We're not going to film your wife and kids. We're not in the business of doing that. But you came out and accosted me. So if you don't want to,
I did not accost you in any way, shape,
mate, you
or
followed me
form.
down the street and started hurling abuse about racism.
No, I didn't.